Hi friends, how are y'all doing? So I thought I would come on here and do a little video this morning. It's my first frugal living video, and can't tell if I want to take my glasses on or off because of the glare. So first of all, yes, I got a haircut. I did start a weekly vlog, and I talk about the reasons why I got a haircut. So that will be up after this video. So if you are interested in why I cut my hair, I would love for you to go watch that vlog whenever it comes up. But today's topic for this video is it's a topic that I've been wanting to talk about, and that's frugal living. And what does frugal living really look like? As most of y'all know, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I think the last job I had was about, I don't know even know how many years ago, maybe 5 years ago, the last full-time job. And I'm a stay-at-home mom to 2 teenagers. One is about to graduate. And yeah, so we live on one income. My husband works very hard, and we live on his income. So I have been watching a lot of frugal channels. I've been trying to watch channels that women like myself, who are stay-at-home moms who live on their husband's income. But first of all, I want to differentiate between frugal and poverty. When I'm talking about living frugal, I do not mean whatsoever like living in poverty. Nobody wants to live in poverty. Our Creator doesn't want us to live in poverty. And so that is not what this is about. Also, I believe that frugal is relative. It's relative to the amount of income that you have. Some of you out there, if you're watching this video, this probably doesn't apply to you, but some of you out there are trust fund babies, or you come from a long line of wealth, and frugal living may look differently to you. It may mean buying a $2 million mansion versus a $12 million mansion. And in that case, the $2 million mansion would be living below your means. It would meet all the criteria for you living frugally. But I'm not talking to you. If that's your situation, like I said, you're probably not watching this video. But I do have to include that group of people because living frugally is different for everyone. But there are some things that, and I have made notes, so I'm going to be looking down, but there are some things that I have written down and that I think are important to think about the concept of frugality. Before I take you around and show you my house and what I have done, or what my husband and I have done, or what he has done, my children have done to live frugally, I think I would like to just go over a few basic, I guess, concepts. I have my coffee right here. Mama needs her coffee. And I'm trying to finish it up. It is cold. So, first of all, you have to be on the same page with your partner, if you have a partner. If you don't have to be on the same page as anybody. You just have to follow your own rules. But if you have a partner and they don't want to live frugally, it is going to be very difficult for you to live frugally. Like, if for instance, they like to go out and eat all the time, or they like to buy a new car every 3 years. It's going to be difficult for you to convince them that that's not how you want to live. And also remember that money is always attached to emotions. So if somebody wants to go out and eat all the time, there's got to be a reason, especially if you're willing to cook and you're a pretty good cook. If they want to buy a new car every 3 years, there has to be a reason. And it's probably tied to some emotion. So if you have a spouse or a partner who is resistant to the idea of living frugally, maybe try and do some digging and try and find out what it is they're resistant to the idea of and why. And I don't mean for this to be a negative video, but there are some things that are probably going to shock you. And the first thing that I really want you to know is that I'm not talking about your friends and your family, but everybody out there wants your money. They do. Even people on YouTube, they want you to watch the ads so they can get money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Money is what makes the world go round, right? Well, we could actually live in a barter system, which I think would be marvelous. But we don't live in a barter system. We live in a capital system. Consumerism is rampant, and that's why everybody wants your money. In fact, last Christmas I was walking through the mall. I just happen to love Bath & Body Works candles. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that. And the people were like the sales associates were like standing outside of the store, like they were in, and they were saying, "Come in here and spend your money." Like they were actually saying that, "Come in here and spend your money." And I thought, that's bold. That's pretty bold. Also, if anybody in your life is calling you a tightwad or a cheapskate or anything like that, realize that those people, even if they're close to you, friends, family, whatever, those people would benefit from you spending your money. Say you have a friend who the only time she wants to go out is to go out to eat. And she's like, "Oh, I'll pay for it this time," and you pay for it next time. No. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, say no. I would love to see you, but let's go take a walk in the park. So you really need to realize the people in your life who are naming you, calling you things, cheapskate, tightwad, penny pincher, whatever. Why are they calling you that? Also, frugal people choose their friends wisely. They don't hang out with people who can't save money. And also, they don't hang out, like I personally don't hang out with people who are in a different income bracket, because they may be able, for example, I had a friend who, well, she's still my friend, but her and her family are military. They're a dual military spouse family. And you know what that means? They have a lot of money. They're both, one of them is an officer, the other one is like an enlisted, but he's way up there. And she doesn't check out books from the library. She buys them from Barnes & Noble. When they go to the movie, they don't bring in like candy and pickles, and they go to the concession stand and buy the works. And so I found that I couldn't hang out with her because I wasn't going to let her pay for me and my kids. And I wasn't going to sit there and let her kids eat all this stuff and mine not eat all this stuff at the movie. And I wasn't going to shell out that kind of money. Now she had the money. They both lived, sorry. Sometimes the words just fly out of my mouth and I don't even know where they come from. But they had a dual income military family, and that means they made a whole heck of a lot more money than we did. And so I just found that the things that they wanted to do and could afford to do, I couldn't. And were they willing to say, oh, I understand you're on a smaller budget, then let's get together and go on a walk? No. She also was not willing to come down to my income bracket. So it is easier to hang out with people in your own income bracket and people who are frugal just like you. Because if you start hanging out with big spenders, people who can't hold on to money, they're going to kind of entice you to do the same thing. They'll be like, oh, come on, you deserve it, or it's just $5, or whatever. Also, I was guilty of this. I would watch. When I first started doing YouTube, I thought Dollar Tree hauls were the most watched. It was a frugal way to go shopping. I thought that was just the way to go. I should go shopping at Dollar Tree and I should show everybody what I bought. But what ended up happening is I was watching these Dollar Tree hauls, and number one, I was getting sucked in. I would go to the Dollar Tree multiple times a week just to look for the things that I saw hauled, and a lot of times they didn't even come to my region. So I'm not saying I never got a good deal. I did get a good deal, but the good deals that I got outweighed the amount of money that I spent before I wised up. Now, will I not watch a Dollar Tree haul? Well, I don't seek them out anymore, but if I happen to come across one that's recent, I'll be like, I wonder what they have right now. And I will look. Maybe I will watch a video. But I'm not sitting down watching Dollar Tree hauls all day long and, trying to decorate with, and organize and stuff. I've done that and it hasn't really worked out for me. If you love Dollar Tree, I'm not knocking it because I love the Dollar Tree too. There are certain things I think are a great deal. But that's another thing that I try not to do that I used to do. Watch makeup hauls, watch Walmart hauls, watch Hobby Lobby hauls, watch, any kind of discount store hauls, because it makes you want to go shopping. If you're into, I'm into candles or wax. I used to be more into makeup, but, I'm not really that into makeup anymore. I like wearing makeup, but I don't like collecting makeup. I have enough. So, but if you like, whatever it is that you like watching, like nail polish hauls, whatever, and you're trying to be frugal, don't watch them. Because it will either make you envious and make you angry that you can't go out and buy them, or that you're not letting yourself, or it'll make you feel like you're missing out, and nobody wants to feel like that. See, what does this say? So only watch videos when you're in the market for them. That is my, if you're trying to decide, you need a new vacuum cleaner, and you're trying to decide, I just lost my place. and you're trying to decide what kind of vacuum cleaner to buy, like go on Amazon, look at the top rated vacuum cleaners on Amazon, and then go look at videos. If you're gonna watch videos about products, be in the market for them. And that leads me to my next point. You don't have to be a slave to a brand. Just because everybody is buying Nike, you don't have to buy Nike. In fact, I wholeheartedly believe that if Nike wants their advertisements on the things that we wear, they should be giving it to us. So I try to buy things, now that I'm older, I try to buy things that don't have a visible brand on the outside. I watched Haley Evans, which you should check her out. She did a couple of, she's doing a whole year of kind of like no buy, sort of. You need to watch her videos in order to understand exactly what she's doing, but she did a couple of videos where she's unbranded her life. And they're quite interesting, and it makes me want to go rip off all the labels of things. So anyway, she says it's visual noise. Take off the labels, paint over the labels. Okay, so this is another thing that I have done. I've shopped for entertainment. You get bored, you go shopping. And you see people like, they're on Instagram, they're on, not really Facebook. My kid, can you believe my kids recently told me that Facebook was for old people? I'm like, well, what do y'all use? Snapchat. I'm not on Snapchat. Like, I'm not. I wouldn't even know what to do with Snapchat. But anyway, if you do shop for entertainment, which I'm guilty of, I've done it, make a list of things you could do instead. The obvious, take a walk in a park, play with your dog, clean your house, whatever. But if those don't work for you, find something that does work for you. And, you can entertain yourself. If you're an adult and, you're fairly mentally stable, then even if you're not and you're on medication, you can, just hold a conversation and maintain a clear, rational train of thought, and maintain a seating position for at least 10 minutes. You can find something to do. It doesn't involve shopping. Another thing that you can do, or that frugal people do, is we have hobbies. Like, I like to make granny square quilts. And I didn't realize this until my husband lost a lot of weight, and he had all these shirts that had a sentimental attachment to him because, he would wear it, for Easter, we went on dates in it, whatever. So I cut up all those shirts, and I made him a quilt. And I got hooked. I enjoyed it. I like the sound of the sewing machine. All you're doing is sewing straight lines. It doesn't really take any sort of skill whatsoever. All you have to do is be able to operate a sewing machine. And if you can't operate, and if you have a sewing machine and it's doing something funky, you can troubleshoot it. More than likely there's a YouTube video for that. There's a YouTube video for everything. One time my sewing machine was doing something crazy, and I looked it up and I was able to fix it. So your hobby may be, gardening or painting or whatever. Resurrect that hobby. Where am I? Okay, this one is kind of deep. Dig deep and create a desire to love the space you are in. Don't love it by putting more stuff in it or filling it with brands you can see their logos. Love it by deep cleaning it, rearranging it, playing music in it, meditating, and creating rituals in it. Frugal people stay home. A lot of frugal people read books. But you can also, if you're physically able, get up and clean your house and play music and find a place where you can create an altar, put some mementos that remind you of, you know, yourself that you used to love, that you still love. Put pictures of loved ones, put mementos from trips that you loved, enjoyed. Just, create an altar, put a couple candles and incense, whatever. Of course, if you have children or animals, you have to be very careful with flames and such. We all know all that. Clean your space, declutter, and then when you're done, sit down and meditate by your altar. You can stay home. It gets lonely. For me, it gets lonely. When my kids, they're both teenagers, and my husband go to work, and I'm here by myself. Sometimes the loneliness, honestly, like disables me. And I know that sounds like sometimes I have to just physically make myself get up and start moving because there's stuff I have to do, paperwork, just the little details of life. And I can't seem to find the desire to do it because I'm lonely here. We live in the country, and but this is my situation right now. I have to accept it and find ways to deal with it. So that's one thing that I try to, if I'm like in a funk, I just get up and try to block everything out and start cleaning. Using your hands, I don't know why, but using your hands is very beneficial. Like doing things with your hands. I'm not talking about weird things, but cleaning things, picking up things, moving things, rearranging things, all these things involve your hands. And somehow whenever your hands are working, a lot of times your mind is quiet and it calms the anxiety of being alone. Also, another thing for me is you exchange your time for money so that you can buy stuff. So my husband is the one who's making the money. So whenever I think about buying stuff, I think, how much of his time am I exchanging for buying this new lipstick or, this Sephora haul or, whatever. And if you're the one making the money, you need to ask yourself that. How long do I have to work? Or how long did I have to work in order to pay for this item? Do I want to exchange my life's energy for this inanimate object? And if you reframe it that way, chances are you'll be like, no, I don't. Or you'll be like, yes, I've been wanting this item for a year, and it's going to enhance my life. So absolutely, give it to me. I'd have bought it yesterday. I could have. So actually, time is your most valuable asset, not your stuff. You may think your house is your most valuable asset, or your car, or your feet. But really, it's your time. All those other things are very valuable. Trust me, I don't want to live without my feet. I don't want to live without my arms. I like to be able to drive my car. I like having a house. But your most valuable accent. Your most valuable asset is your time because it's taken your time to get all of these things. Even your feet. It took time for your feet to grow in your mother's womb. But you are the one who grew your feet. If you're a Christian, you believe that God knitted you together in your mother's womb. And He grew your feet. And of course, your mom's nutrition and everything like that helped you to grow your feet. But, okay, all that aside, your body is the thing that grew your feet, your arms, your eyes. So it really is your time that you took. You just don't remember it. And time is finite. So I stopped for a second so you could let that sink in and I could let it sink in. You never know when your time's going to be up. And you only get so much of it. And nobody knows how much we get. But it's not infinite. It is finite. For sure. Also, limiting the amount of items that you have to work with makes you more creative. Like, it forces creativity. Take makeup, for example. If you have like a golden brown lipstick and that's all you have, and some mascara and some powder, you can make a gorgeous face. If you have tons of products, you can make a gorgeous face, but you never know how creative, you never know what that tube of lipstick can do for you until it's all you have. Trust me, I've been in this situation before in Mexico. And we won't get into that here, but I have. So we're not just talking about makeup, we're talking about like a cleaning item or, you know, a car. We're talking about anything that you use. If you only have one or two, it forces you to get creative. Also, if something breaks and you can't afford to go out and fix it, you're going to be thinking of ways. Like right now, my hose on my vacuum cleaner is shot, and I keep gorilla taping it, but it's about to like just die. And what am I going to do? How am I going to fix the hose? I don't know. I don't know if I can fix it. I don't know if it's fixable. But I'm probably going to try to fix it before I go out and buy a new vacuum cleaner, because the engine on the vacuum cleaner works just fine. So, also, frugal people don't use credit cards for unnecessary items because you think, oh, I have, just let's pick a number. I have a $500 credit limit. That doesn't mean that they've given you $500. It means that there's $500 for you to borrow. And that's all. But you have to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back, like the month that you buy it, when you get your credit card statement in, if you don't pay it back, you'll be paying interest. So say you're like, oh my gosh, this is a good deal, I'm going to put on my credit card. And I'll just make payments. Well, then it's not a good deal. Because most credit cards are like 18% interest, which is robbery. Legal theft. So, let's just say that $100 vacuum cleaner that you got for a good Black Friday deal, if you don't pay it off till March, guess what? It's not a good deal at all. So don't use your credit card unless like it's an actual emergency, you know? Probably better to use a credit card than go to one of those cash check advance places. If you're starving, use your credit card. Go to a food bank. Call a church. If you're in dire straits and all you have is a credit card, of course, I'm not telling you to let yourself, put yourself in a bad situation. I'm not. But you know what I'm saying. Don't go buy stuff on a credit card just to keep up with somebody, or just because you're bored, or just because everybody else is doing it, and knowing you can't pay it off. Just don't. Frugal people don't do that. Also, we use what we already have before we go and buy something new. We try to anyway, unless we have an addiction. Like, I have way too much shower gel from Bath and Body Works. Sometimes they go on mega clearance during SAS, and you can get them dirt cheap. Not dirt cheap. You can get really good smelling body washes for the same price that you would pay for a body wash at like Walmart. However, buying bars of soap are still way more economical than buying that shower gel. So, even though there's shower gels I want right now at Bath and Body Works, and candles, and hand soap, I don't need them. And I'm trying to fight the urge. So it's real. It's alive and well in me, the urge to go spend money. So frugal people also think of several ways to use something instead of just its intended purpose. And one example I can think of right now is I buy distilled water for my iron, and I save the jugs. Sometimes my family throws them away, and it really pisses me off. And I'm looking at them right now. But I save the jugs so that I can go fill them up for 25 cents with water, because there's a water filling station. It's 25 cents a gallon, and it's good water, spring water. It's delicious. Also, I save my vinegar jugs for putting like plant food, Miracle Grow, fish emulsion, whatever, and then using that on my plants. It has multiple purposes. You can also cut up a milk jug and put it over like a seedling and create kind of like a greenhouse effect. Or maybe not a milk jug, but like maybe a soda bottle, which I don't recommend drinking soda, but you know what I mean. Everything can have a multiple purpose. You just have to be creative and figure out how you can make it work for you. Also, we reuse, reimagine, recycle. I've done this my whole life. If something is old and worn out, paint it. If, somebody gives you something funky from the thrift store for a present because that's all they can afford, paint it and make it into, and I'm thinking of like my ex-sister-in-law got like this really strange piece of plywood in the shape of a pig or something from a thrift store as a wedding present. Now, I'm not saying you should do this because it's bad manners, but I took it home, I painted it, I put hardware on the back to hang it, and I turned it into like a thing to hold jewelry and necklaces and that type of thing. So, frugal people also make do while we're trying to manifest and work for the things that we really want. Like, there's a carpet in my living room, and I know it needs to be cleaned. My couches need to be cleaned. Are they like my dream couch, my dream carpet? No, they're not. But I'm not going to replace them right now. First of all, I have animals, and it's not worth it. I can borrow my mother's steam cleaner and clean it if I want to, which I really should. I think I'm going to do that. But while you're sitting there thinking about your dream carpet and your dream couch and trying to manifest it, all the while working for things like you know, manifesting, I can do a whole separate video on manifesting. I won't get into it now. But hopefully I'm not going to get anxious and go buy a brand new beautiful carpet and couch on credit just because I want it. No, I'm just going to clean it and use it and love it and thank it for, you know, some people don't have couches. Some people don't have carpets. I do. So, also, and this is a big one for frugal people, being on trend isn't even in our thoughts or our vibration. We don't care about keeping up with the Joneses because our whole way of living and thinking doesn't revolve around impressing people with things. I have to write things down because my short-term memory is shot. So, but yeah, bless you. I don't care about keeping up with the Joneses. I just don't. If I did, I would move into their neighborhood and keep up with them. I'd find a way. But I don't care about keeping up with the Joneses. And most frugal people that I know don't. So, I've been kind of like giving you like pointers, maybe some concepts, but down to the nitty-gritty, some physical examples. Frugal people typically have smaller homes, like according to their budget. We have like a little over 1,000 square foot home. And I've showed you guys in videos, you've seen it. And when I do my part 2, I will show you like physical examples of how frugal people save money. But we have smaller homes. If you make $400,000 a year, you may not need 1,000 square foot home. You may want, you know, a 2,000 square foot home. Or if you have 6 kids, you're going to need probably a bigger home than I have. So it's relative, but typically frugal people do live in smaller homes because it costs less to heat and cool them. That's one. It just costs less to fill them. You don't have to buy as big of furniture, as much furniture. Just, you know, just practical reasons. A lot of us also have older vehicles that are paid for. We pay cash for them, or we try to pay them off as soon as possible. We make extra payments. We also have older furnitures. We have older furniture. We have hand-me-downs. You go to thrift stores and buy the furniture that's perfectly good to people who just wanted something new. We accept hand-me-downs, and we give hand-me-downs. Gently used, gently loved. Items that we no longer serve us. So, we also shop at thrift stores when we really need something. Like, I think I've gained some weight. I mean, no, I don't think I've gained some weight. I know I've gained some weight. But I think when I pull out my spring clothes, I'm going to find that not a lot of them fit me. So I'm going to go to the thrift store and buy a few shirts, not many. That's it. We do it-yourselves if you can. Now, I'm not saying that you should build your own house unless you're an architect. I'm not saying you should fix your own car unless you're a mechanic or you're good, or you're mechanic minded. But if you can do it yourself, and you have the confidence, do it yourself. So we also know the price of things. We shop around. Like, I know how much a bag of 5-pound potatoes is at my local grocery store. And when it goes up, I know. Like, hey, that's gone up. And I just messed my hair up. But, I know the price of things. We also keep busy. we try to keep busy. I just gave you an example of how I felt immobilized when I'm alone, because I've been alone too much and for too long. But at that time, I try to keep busy. I don't, I try not to sit around and watch TV too much, because it's just a bad habit. You know that they say that sitting is the new smoking. We also cook from scratch. It's cheaper. It develops a skill that you really need. It keeps you busy. You don't have to go out and purchase things. You know what's in your food. We also keep track of our spending with lists, with, Excel spreadsheets, however you want to do it. We keep track of our spending as best we can. Some people are just not like numbers oriented, or we don't lean toward mathematics at all. But I do like to keep track of, numbers for some reason. When I'm feeling anxious, if I start working with numbers, it calms me down. We also go to the library, because I think a lot of frugal people read, not only fiction whenever we have a spare moment, but we also read for new information, or if we need to fix something, or if we want to learn how to square foot garden, or if we want to learn, whatever. We go to the library and borrow the book instead of buying a book. Now, if you go to the library and you find a book and you're like, you've checked it out 5 times, maybe you need to go buy that book. But then you'll know, like, hey, I keep checking out this book. I think I'm going to go buy it. We've also gotten rid of cable. And that has been a blessing and a curse, because I discovered YouTube and now I'm addicted to YouTube. I will freely admit it. I'm addicted to YouTube. And I've got to learn how to curb my addiction. I was going to give YouTube up for Lent, but I'm not a Catholic. But Lutherans, I'm a Lutheran, and I have been for 3 years, and I like the Lutheran faith. But and they observe Lent, but I really don't know how they observe it. And I probably should find that out. But, yeah, we gave up cable. I found that we don't use it. We don't use all the channels that, they say. You have over 100 channels. Well, a lot of those are sports or news or whatever, and we just don't watch them. And the shows that we did watch, like HGTV, that's all staged crap. It is. And I think that's also starting to drive up, or has been driving up the price of houses. Oh, they're getting $130,000 for a house, a shack in, wherever, and they're getting $700,000 for a shack in California, and whatever. So, yeah, it's all staged. You have to watch commercials. It costs over $100 a month. Just get rid of your cable. So those are just a few of the things. I know this is going to be a long video. I'm going to stop it now and upload it to YouTube. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you found it helpful in any way, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. If you like frugal videos, I'm going to be bringing you more vlogs. I love my candles and my wax. Anything scented to make my home smell good, so I do a lot of that. And yeah, I'm a housewife who lives out in the country, has 2 teenagers and 4 animals, and I'm always up for new ideas, new adventures. So if you would like to join me, I would love to have you on my channel, and I hope you'll have a great day and a great weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye.